Good morning, everybody. Are we able to see the screen? Can someone tell me by unmuting themselves?
Yes, and can
Okay,
hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
love. Welcome, everyone. Welcome for our day 4 in the Course in Miracles. Let's start recapping what we studied yesterday. Yesterday, we had read from chapter number 14 up until chapter number 13, I think. Yeah, right. Chapter number 13 up until chapter number 19. And lesson 13 was very simple that as long as I see my past life as real, I'm unable to tap into the current grace and the never ending abundance. So we were told to let go of the past and let it come in the future. Then chapter number 14 was about miracles, which the guiding philosophy of Pam Grout is if it's not fun, it's not sustainable. So if we are not enjoying what we are doing in our life, if we are not tapping into the grace, then we will not find the perfect safety, the perfect peace, or whatever is meant to come in because we are going in with the old mindset. Lesson number 15 was again very, very simple. My thoughts and images, right here. My thoughts and images that I have made is a recognition that there is something bigger and unseen going on. So, 3 times we're supposed to tap in, have the periodic check ins, and wonder and think that is what I'm creating, is that a story from the past or is that something which has happened now? Lesson number 16 was about I have no neutral thoughts. So, one of you messaged in the session yesterday about what are neutral thoughts. And I unfortunately didn't read that yesterday, so I'm going to explain. When we talk about non neutral thoughts, which is again and again mentioned in this chapter, in this lesson, is about non neutral thoughts are usually judgment based, They are like, oh, this is good, this is bad, ye acha hai, bura hai, mere saath acha hua, bura hua, I'm victim or, I'm a winner. So it's always laced with a lot of emotions. Like, my feelings, if I'm coming from a place of fear, aisa ho jayega, or, anger, I'm so angry this happened, or I'm feeling very, very happy and ecstatic. Or at times it's polarized. There are 3 forms of non-neutral thought ways, and it's like there are people in your life, if you know about them, who are like this or that. अच्छा है, बुरा है, black है, white है, my way or the highway. So it's very polarized, a very extreme way of attitude of thinking. So we said that if I have no neutral thoughts, then whatever is happening in my life, it's going to have no effect. New thoughts in here, so whatever I'm creating has no problem. Like right here it says, if I have no neutral thought, this dispels the belief that my thoughts have no effect. So immediately, we are cutting ourselves loose all the slack. Lesson number 17 was about changing our story, changing our life. And again, it says the same thing which we did that time, that if I have no neutral things, it's an important step in identifying the cause and effect as how it operates in the world. The spiritual law is simple, right? That things happen, this happens, and ultimately that's the effect. Cause happens and the effect happens. But the minute we start tuning our brains, that I've magnetized into my life, that whatever my non neutral thoughts focus upon is what I'm expanding. So I change my story. Lesson number 18. None of us are alone in this journey, and whatever we're experiencing is together. So, the minute we have the feeling of togetherness, that even if I'm feeling low, I'm not the only one, there are other people who are also feeling that. And we start looking at things without labeling them. And lesson number 19 was a very profound one, that we should question every single thing in our life. So, here, that if we start questioning this way a small child does, we are going to become better versions of ourselves, because whatever stories we've created have been uh, impressions of our past experiences. And Pratima ji, I'm very grateful to you for sharing your beautiful feedback on the same on our WhatsApp call. Harshita, I'm very grateful to you for summing up yesterday's and day before session for all of us in those bullet points. Those PDFs are very, very beautiful. And Vanna, you asked us a question. We saw that in the WhatsApp group. We will talk about that at the end. Harshita, you or anybody can question and we can discuss about that. Today is lesson number 20. When 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. Kim Stafford says, shall we let terror simplify the world to good and evil? Or shall we lean together towards one another, recognize our need, and cherish all magnetic nudges towards inclusion? I repeat, Stafford says, shall we let terror simplify the world to good and evil? Or shall we lean towards one another, recognize our need, and cherish all magnetic nudges towards inclusion? The world is not very inclusive, unfortunately. The world is full of labeling. The world is this person is an outcast, this person is this, that person is that. But in totality, everybody is equal. But do we actually believe that? So lesson number 20 is about I am determined to see uh, to up my game, to step up on my game. It asked me to commit to seeing the truth and to reminding myself of my commitment a couple of times an hour. It doesn't ask me to do 50 push ups or love my enemies even once. It asks me to briefly remember that if I make any exceptions or leave any situation or person out of the equation, I'm going to experience the same old world. Rather than be against anyone or anything, it asks me to see unity, peace, love, joy for all, equanimity for all. It asks me to see the truth in the oppressed and the oppressor, in the bullied and the bully. So, if we can start understanding that our consciousness is the best place to be in rather than this camp, this label, that label, then we will really come a long way. So Pam Grout gives us an example. She says, remember the story from lesson 12 about the Bangladeshi store clerk who decided to forgive the swastika tattooed vigilant who shot him. What he discovered when he became determined to see is that his shooter had come from broken parents, broken schools, broken prison system. He grew up knowing that if his mom had been able to scrape together just 50 more bucks, she'd have aborted him. Is it any wonder he might have a slight bit of anger and resentment? Today, I see and create a radically new vision, one where everyone wins, everyone gets a seat at the table. Isn't this very profound, the last line? Today, I see and create a radically new vision, one where everyone wins, everyone gets a seat at the table. How profound, how wonderful. Lesson number 21. Voltaire says, uh, God is a comedian playing into an audience too afraid to laugh. And the lesson's name is The Sky is Not Falling. For years, my friend's sister in law threatened to boycott Kenny Rogers for using crass language in his song Lucille. Why? She demanded to know. Would anyone write a song about 400 children crapping in the field? Because he didn't. Like life that I sometimes misconstrue as frustrating or pointless or hard, she misconstrued Kenny's lyrics, which actually go with four hungry children and a crop in the field. So in lesson 21, I become determined to give up all thoughts of crapping children, any thoughts that make me unhappy, even just a teeny little bit. It's all misconstrued. And I am determined to see each one differently. So, very, very important for all of us to rewire our brains when we become in a victim mindset. Oh, this happened to me because that happened to me. Oh, that happened to me because that happened to me. Anything that has made us unhappy till now, anything means anything. We have to unwrite that, delete that pattern, and rewire ourselves. So even little ones that I tend to overlook is meant to be given attention today. 5 times today. So the game is one step up. Remember, till now, till 21 lesson, there were 3 periodic check-ins. Now what does Vamgrao tell us? She's guiding us 5 times today. Or just a minute. I am asked to search my mind for any person, any situation that seems less than perfect, doesn't matter how small. And then I simply tell myself, I am determined to see this person differently. I am determined to see the situation, whatever is far from covered through the thought differently. Any thought, even the tiny little one, is a fair game. And imagine how wonderful life would be when we stop the blame game and claim our own power. That is the entire essence of this book, this experiment, this Course in Miracles, which is rewiring our brains and hence the lives that we are living. Lesson 22. No longer using my thoughts to attack myself. Sherry Richardson says, if beating ourselves up worked, we'd all be thin, rich, and happy by now. Now, isn't that beautiful? कोई भी एक इंसान होगा जो बोलेगा I don't want to be happy, जो बोलेगा I don't want to be the best version, the best complexion, the best hair, the best body, the best of the world, best of holidays or whatever. Yes, some people will be content, but nobody will say that I'm okay to be like a 200 kilo man or a woman and super dark where you can just see nothing and unhappy. Does anybody want that? No, we all want the best versions of ourselves. So Pam Grout says, my friend Anita Murjani, and I don't know if you people know about this. She had near-death experience, and once she got out of the experience in the hospital, where she heard it all, the book is beautiful. It's in Dying to Be Me. She's a friend of Pam Grout, and she says, my friend Anita Murjani wrote an amazing book called Dying to Be Me. It's about a 4-year bout with cancer and the near-death experience, NDE, that completely revolutionized her ideas about life and death. Not long after returning from the other side and quickly healing from the stage 4 lymphoma that had ravaged her body, she got out of the bed. She'd been unable to walk for months before, shuffled into the bathroom, and nearly fell over in shock when she saw her withered frame staring at her in the mirror. She looked herself straight in the eye and made this solemn vow: I will never do this to you again. And this in itself is something which is giving me goosebumps. Unknowingly or knowingly, we create the stories, the picture, the feelings of what we have gone through, and whatever good or bad is happening in our life, we are the sole creators. It is very easy to blame and say, it happened because of you, it happened because of that, or this is karmic which I had to go through. I'm not denying that something karmic could be there, but we always have a choice. Back to the chapter. She says, until she got cancer, Anita says she was afraid of everything. Like so many of us, she was a people pleaser. She worked hard to be liked, to be a good person, to be spiritual, to be a good employee. She tried to eat right. She says she worried constantly about microwaves, plastic containers, red meat, getting, you guessed it, cancer. When you fear something so much, so much, so much, you are giving it attention, inviting it in your life, because in the back of your mind, ये नहीं, ये नहीं, ये नहीं, ये नहीं. Universe क्या सुन रहा है? ये नहीं तो उसको सुनना नहीं आता. Universe doesn't know the power of no. It is only the power of yes. So, what are we thinking? Anything negative patterns are thinking, we are unknowingly inviting them in our life. So, in other words, she was a poster child for lesson 22. What I see is a form of vengeance. Now, sometimes this may trouble you all to listen and to see why. Again, she's saying, at first, read. This sounds pretty harsh, but when I hear stories like Anita's or even pay attention to the running commentary in my own head, I realize how vengeful I often am, especially in my judgments of myself. I would never dream of speaking to anyone the way I often speak to myself. Now, this is a fact which is hitting hard home. There are very few people who love themselves unconditionally. Most of us are berating ourselves. Ye theek nahi hai, wo theek nahi hai, wo theek nahi hai. I mentioned on day one that we can't even look at our reflection in the mirror many a times and see and accept the way we are. And this could be better, this could be better, or that could be better, or that could be better, or something on the other. The commentary is going on. This lesson also celebrates the joyous news that my countless fears and critical thoughts are not real. I learn There's an escape. 5 times today, I look around and acknowledge that all I fear does not exist. Anita had to die and go to what we call heaven to realize this precious truth. I get to do it today, simply asking for help to see life differently. So wonderful. Lesson number 23. It's you. Boo. Morpheus, the Matrix, writes, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Isn't that very deep? सब कुछ पता है कैसे लाइफ लिव करनी है, क्या क्या करना चाहिए, बट क्या हम कर पा रहे हैं? Walk on the path of love, light, blessings, and abundance. But are we able to tap in the blessings? Are we able to fill our bodies with love and our eyes with love and see everybody unconditionally and clear all the ill will which we've gone through in the past by saying it's still okay? Don't we sometimes get bitter and get conditioned? Lesson 23. Maybe the best news yet. It offers a secret key to the ocean of love that all these spiritual practices keep promising. It offers escape from the closed psychological structures that cause our pain, our problems. It says, I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. This lesson, secondly, explains that cause and effect is the organizing principle of the universe. It says point blank, there is no point in lamenting the world. There is no point in trying to change it. Have you often heard that change yourself and change your life? That before beginning to change others, look within and change yourself, and then everything starts changing? But what are we doing? ये ऐसा होता तो better होता, ये condition ऐसे हुई होती तो better होता. But these are just fragments of our imagination. Hota, what does that mean? But if we start getting into who am I, then life becomes better. The world is merely an effect of my thoughts. That's worth repeating. My thoughts and beliefs about the world are its cause, its quantum physics. It's called the observer effect. So while there's no point in fighting to change the world, there is huge benefit in changing my thoughts. That's why this workbook's daily practice is so important. By why Morpheus said that there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Like it or not, I am the image maker of the world. This is shout it from the rooftop groovy because all I have to do is change my thoughts and beliefs. Once I do that, the world changes automatically. Beautiful experiences start happening, they rise up, joy, beauty, love, and peace show up. Why? Because all the debris in my mind, I'm decluttering myself. When the debris is cleared, there's a lot of place for good life, abundance, and things to come in my life. It's also worth mentioning that despite that what self-help books and therapy sessions preach, changing my thoughts and beliefs is a simple matter of asking for help. That voice that won't stop pestering Helen Schumann is also eager to continue with me, is commune with me, with you. Okay, lesson number 24. Hire the stunt double. Jerry Colonna says, put down the script. You don't have to be an anchor in the drama anymore. The brain is basically a bureaucrat. It looks in the past, applies it to the present, and uses it as a map to predict the future. It literally makes up stories. Lesson 24. I do not perceive my own best interests. It points out that in no situation is my perception accurate. How can I accurately decide on the best course of action when my brain distorts reality? I used a phrase yesterday, I'm going to repeat it today again. It has been said, again, this is a conditioning. Yesterday was misery because most of us are coming with that. And they always say that, 100 अच्छा कर लो, एक बुरा करो, वो एक ही बुरा याद रहता है, right? Because this is how we have been conditioned. And yesterday was misery, tomorrow is a mystery, today is the present, right? We talked about that yesterday. If tomorrow is a mystery, why keep harboring about that fact? Yes, you want to think of something good, go ahead, but don't go crazy and berserk about that. Then you miss the present, which is full of love, light, grace, and abundance. Remember, we were told to check in today because today was the most powerful. So, today, in two 5-minute practices, I'm asked to honestly search my mind, to examine various situations, and enumerate all the things I want to happen. In the situation involving so and so, I would like so and so to happen and this to happen. It quickly becomes apparent that I am placing demands that have nothing to do with the situation and that many of these intentions are contradictory. Having no unified outcome is a setup for disappointment, which is why today is a great time to re-emphasize the bennies of practicing the course. I don't go through these lessons to be more spiritual or win brownie points with the dude. I do it solely because I can use the help. When Matt Damon reprised his role as Jason Bourne in the fifth installment of the popular movie series, he was 9 years older than the last time he played the titular character. Although he was still able to perform the fight scenes, he conceded to let a stunt double jump out of the helicopter and madly speed through the streets of Berlin. All of us have a stunt double, an inner voice that this course calls the Holy Spirit. And unlike our brains, it always knows the best course of action. This is somewhat an answer to your question, Vanna, when you talked about the question, which we will talk about, but this is somewhat answering. This voice is not just available for Helen Schumann or Eckhart Tolle or, in that matter, Matt Damon, who must have been listening to this voice when he dropped out of Harvard to pursue acting. This voice is available to each and every one of us, and it always knows how to transcend ordinary experience and identify with the bigger part of ourselves. More of the lesson: fire your brain, hire your stunt double. Brain is playing politics, is playing games, is playing a story round all over again, again and again. Lesson number 25: the home depot of spiritual practices. A Course in Miracles states, do not bend reality to our tiny experience or limit its purpose to a little personal thoughts. The universe is kind of like a home depot, offering an unlimited selection of tools to further my good. Lesson 25: I do not know what happens or anything is for assures me that every single person, every single thing that happens is in my best interest. हमें बोलते हैं ना जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है. So if something wrong has happened, it's happened because it had to teach us a lesson, or that time that was a consciousness. So जो होता है उस समय अच्छे के लिए होता है. Of course, we are being told to unwire, rewire. So some beliefs are going to be instilled in us, like always believe in the world of love, light, grace, and blessings and abundance, and let go of whatever no longer serves you. But instead of repeating that wordly mantra, I prefer to channel Hans Skulls. He's a fictional sergeant to Colonel Wilhelm Klink in the old TV series Hogan's Heroes. Even though Skulls knew about the shenanigans of the Allied POWs who were running special operations from Stalag 13, he was famous for proclaiming to his inept colonel, I know nothing, in a clipped German accent. I repeat that line, complete with the accent, quite often. How powerful it is to say again and again to ourselves, I know nothing, I know nothing, I'm being guided, I'm just following, my higher self, my higher consciousness. In fact, it has become an important line item in my spiritual practice. I have learned that anytime I think I figured something out, anytime I believe I found the root to the intention of that dream, I promptly proceed to get in my own way. My understanding is sorely limited, but when I know nothing, like skulls, I leave the gates wide open for blessings to rush in. कई बार सुना होगा ना, business ho, future ho, there are some people who always say, "मेरे हाथ में तो कुछ नहीं, it's he who's running the show." I just am, I leave everything on him. There are people who have, uh, namely God, like Tirupati Balaji, Krishna, Bihariji, whatever names you want to call it, or Salasarji, or Shamji Khatu Baba, whatever names you want to use, कि they are my guiding light. And they have even made them as business partners, कि he or she is running the company. I'm just merely there. So if we start saying that I know nothing, and then we are actually opening our life for blessings to rush in. So 6 times today, I will remember Hans Kulz and thank him for proving that inspiration and important spiritual practices come from anywhere. Lesson 26. Eckhart Tolle says, if you could, 2 words or 10, if you could observe first the psychological changes that take place in your body when you are in negative states, you should stop immediately. Now, this is an observation which we have to work on ourselves. जब मैं एक negative state में रहती हूँ, how does my body behave? Do I feel anxious? Do I get palpitations? Do I start fretting? Do I start sweating? Do I feel uncomfortable? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling? Quick check-in, right there, right there. In a funny skit on Mad TV, Bob Newhart plays a shrink offering stop it therapy. A client named Catherine who comes to him with panic attacks. She's frantic about being buried alive in a box. Newhart's doctor, Switzer, says, has anyone ever tried to bury you in a box? Catherine says, no, but thinking about it makes my life horrible. I can't go through a tunnel or be in an elevator or be in a house, anything boxy. Dr. Spitzer, I'm going to say 2 words. I want you to listen very, very carefully. Catherine says, should I write them down? He says, Dr. Spitzer says, we find most people can remember them. Of course, his 2 words, stop it, weren't what Catherine really wanted to hear. She wanted to go on and on about being bulimic, about having self-destructive relationship with men, about her germ phobia, about being afraid to drive. But like Dr. Spitzer's 2 words, lesson 26, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability, isn't what most of us want to hear. It basically says that any thought that's not of love is an attack upon ourselves, an attack upon our invulnerability. Vulnerable is when you're open and receptive to everything, but when you're closed, you're invulnerable. And any thoughts which are not coming out of love and light is basically an attack. If it's true, nothing can hurt me as a lesson promises, maybe I could actually benefit from Dr. Spitzer's comical 5-minute $5 therapy. Instead, I'm asked to stop for 2 minutes, 6 times today, and recognize that any thought of worry, anger, depression, or foreboding is an actual knife I thrust into my psyche. Isn't that absolutely magical? चिंता करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, गुस्सा होने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, डिप्रेशन होने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, because that is like a dagger in my heart, a knife into my psyche. In each of the 2-minute sessions, I review a painful situation. I'm concerned about this, and then I'm asked to go over the possible outcomes. I'm afraid this will happen. After naming each outcome I fret about, I simply tell myself that thought is an attack upon myself. Attack thoughts, which make up the bulk of my incessant thinking, create a false image of who I really am. Slowly but surely, as I start identifying my attack thoughts, I can give them up to what I call the holy S. It won't tell me to stop it, but it will gently remind me that none of those thoughts are true. None of them can change who I really am, invulnerable and forever free. The last session for today morning, the last lesson, lesson number 27. Writing a different caption. John O'Donohue says, there is a quiet light that shines in every heart. It is what illuminates our minds to see beauty, to see a desire, to seek possibility, and our hearts to love life. Each week, the New Yorker on the last page offers a blank cartoon. Readers are invited to compose and submit clever captions. When I wrote this, for example, the back page featured a giant gingerbread man lying in a hospital bed with six doctors in chefs' hats peering down upon him. Editors chose three captions, finalists, and then readers vote. It never ceases to amaze me how widely varying the captions are. One simple cartoon, three astounding different captions. This popular contest demonstrates just how completely different individual perceptions are. We may think, we may think that everyone sees the world just like we do, but au contraire, my friends. A Course in Miracle Lesson 27 says, above all else, I want to see. I want to let go of my false perceptions, my own personally captioned cartoon. I want only to see the insanely beautiful truth in everything, in everyone. The sycamore tree in my yard is literally is pulsing with life. The sky overhead offers stunning new canvas each day. Each of my fellow humanoids are, as Hafiz says, God speaking. Today, I remind myself over and over again, 4 times, an hour if possible, that we, now this is a lot, huh? अभी तक 1 minute हो रहा था, 3 times, then it became 5 times or 6 times, and now we are saying that maybe up till an hour, which is no, sorry, 4 times in an hour if possible, which means how many hours we have in a day, and 4 times. So, talking about multiples, that visions has no cost to anyone. I remind myself over and over again, 4 times an hour if possible, that vision has no cost to anyone, and that every time I truly look at life without blinders, I send innumerable blessings out into the world. Wonderful. So, we have studied a lot today, and now it's time to go inward and meditate a bit and continue our well being, our life, and reach a best stage of our being. It is very, very important, and we are going to be learning a lot about how we want to take our life forward. And let's just hear some beautiful music. All right. Can you hear the music? Thumbs up. No, you can't. Okay, you can. All right, great. So let's close our eyes. Fold your hands today for a change. Straighten your backs. Let's be grateful to all the magical things that have happened in our life. Let's be grateful with a deep breath in for all that's wrong that's happened in our life. And as we exhale out, let's be grateful for all that wrong that happened came into my life for a lesson to be learned. Nothing is good, nothing is bad. I am a human being who was taught to be in a world of judgment, of labeling. If life is so beautiful, if God is all encompassing, if love, light, grace, and blessings and abundance is all around me, may I be guided, steered towards clearing of all the old baggage and welcoming all that is going to unfold by telling myself, I know nothing. I am being guided. This inner voice in me, which is coming from the place of love and light, is in the best version of myself. And I start muting all the clutter, the chitter chatter that is happening in my life, which is trying to bring me down, which is stopping me from anything which is happening in the world of love and light. I am grateful. I am blessed. I live life magically. I am thankful for all that's happened in my life. But today, I'm even more grateful because I am being guided that life can start afresh for me only if I reprogram myself, only if I keep practicing day in, day out to let go of all the stories, of all the things that have unfolded which haven't made me happy. Anything and everything, whether it's a human being, whether it's a situation, whether it's just some experience. Anything which is unhappy is not worth remembering. I clear that baggage of my life, in my life, about my life with ease, with grace, with joy. I tap into the universe's infinite potential and I invoke the blessings which are there abundantly in this magical universe with infinite possibilities. I begin trusting the process by wiping myself clean of all debris that I may be holding in my consciousness, in my heart, in my body. Any physical pain, discomfort, something which comes across, maybe some kind of skin problem, maybe some kind of look problem. I let go of that conditioning. Knowingly, unknowingly, unconsciously, or consciously, I am the creator of that situation. If I can create something so negative, I can create something very positive. With this beautiful guidance, with these beautiful blessings, may I be tapping into my being. Now let's put our hands on our heart. I am capable. I am capable of writing my new story. I am capable of looking at everything with equanimity. I am capable of looking at life in a very balanced way. I am capable of unwriting whatever no longer serves me. I am capable of understanding whatever happened for a reason, and that was the right thing at that particular point. I am capable to live and tap in the present by tapping into the infinite love, light, abundance. I am capable of living my life with truth, with honesty, with integrity. I am capable of muting down all that's bringing me down, whether it's people in my life or people in my past. It no longer matters to me because I am being guided to walk on the path of love and light. Not just talk about it, but actually walk the talk. I am magical. I am gratitude. I am manifestation. I am affirmation. I am blessed. I am grateful. I am thankful. Wherever I go, life is for me. Life unfolds for me every moment, every day, year on, because I am in love with life. I accept all that happens so unconditionally that life has no option but to give back to me because I have invested so much of trust in it. When I always see life with a half cup full attitude, my cup gets fuller and fuller with abundance, with love, with light, with blessings, with everything which is meant to help me accelerate my life towards God's world. God for me here could be the grand overall design. God for me here could be some higher body that I believe in. God for here could be the love and light I feel within my heart. God for me could be an entity that I believe in. I shout out to my consciousness. Today, I'm helping myself rewrite my life by raising my consciousness and inviting myself in cohesive group energy with love, light, attention to detail, and to be living in the present and deleting all the codes that were written, programmed in my consciousness. I delete, I delete, I delete. And all that is meant to unfold, I let go of that. I am grateful. I am blessed. I am thankful. I honor my words very beautifully. I am a divine child of the God Himself. I'm divine love who flows in love. Whatever I do in my life is with love, is with light, is with honesty, is with integrity. It does not matter. The results may not be as much as expected, maybe financially, maybe physically. But when I flow in love and light, everything is bound to multiply. So be it. So it is, so it is, so it is. Once again, let's fold our hands, bow our heads in gratitude to the Almighty, to our co-seekers for being in this beautiful journey of our letting go, surrendering, and invoking the divine presence and love. I am grateful, I am thankful, I am blessed. Now, let's rub our hands together, feel the heat, the energy, bless our eyes, our face, our head, our neck, our shoulders, our arms, front and back, our torso, our chest, our legs, upper to lower, ankles, feet. Turn back your hand, bless the back part of your body, legs in going up to the lower back, up, and once the hands are in front, we open our eyes with delight, with love, with light. Abundant blessings to all. May the world be magical, magical, and more magical. Thank you everyone for sharing the space. And if anybody has time, space, and energy, can you just look at the WhatsApp group? And Vandana had a question for us. If I remember right, she was asking the difference between intuition and the inner chatter, right? Um, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. Let me look at it. I don't think somebody is there. So, any questions and any doubts that we have, no harm in putting on the group so that we can all talk about it. So, I'm going to actually read what Pratima ji shared yesterday. She shared these beautiful images which says, underrated truth. The voices in your head aren't yours. It's in complete synchronicity with what we're learning. They are recordings of your parents, your teachers, your bullies, your exes, who you've been replaying other people's opinions so long that you think they're your thoughts, but they're not. Turn off the tape and you will find your actual voice. So beautiful and so very, very magical, and exactly what we have been taught. There's another forward by her. It says most people think they have an inner critic. They don't. They have an inner playlist of everyone who ever made them feel small. Now that is something. It's not the inner critic, it's a playlist of people, situations. Life में ये हुआ, life में वो हुआ, इस चीज की वजह से हुआ. So the minute we think negative, we say stop it. Hit pause. Ask yourself one question. If no one had ever told me who to be, what would I choose right now? The answer is your real voice. Start listening to it. So beautiful, right? And based on this, Vanda questioned us. One question: what is the difference between inner voice, namely intuition, and the people's notes that go in the mind? How do we differentiate? So this is an open platform. Everyone can share their viewpoints. Does anybody want to share their viewpoints? I'm happy to share mine after that. If anybody has anything, please unmute yourselves. And what is your perception about this? Please feel free to share. Anybody wants to? No? I see smiling faces waiting for me to say. All right. So the inner chatter is, as we have been reading from last 3-4 days, that all the stories that we have been fed, ये नहीं ठीक था, तुम ये नहीं कर सकते हो, ये तुम्हारे बस का नहीं है, anything which made us feel insufficient. The criticism of people, or sometimes experiences in our life where we have not been able to do something. Oh, मेरे तो बस का नहीं, मैंने तो try किया, fail हो जाता है, because it's not happening. For example, if you've had a injury in your ankle, you've twisted your ankle. That time, a pain was there in your mind. Oh, a pinching pain. Second time, again it's happened. That impression of that pain has become stronger. Third time it happens, again it becomes deep rooted. Similarly, when people criticize us over a period of time and say again and again and again and again, repeat, they probably have said once, twice, thrice. In our mind, our story has repeated that hundreds of times. By creating that one story as a deep rooted impression in our consciousness, in our heart, in our body. And that manifests as ailments, as projections, as problems. So, if we have to really rewire our lives at whatever age we are, it does not matter. Tomorrow is a new day. Every day there's a new sun, there's a new moon, there are new stars. Why I'm saying new? Even we are new. Our body has had a new development since yesterday. So many cells have died, so many has come up. We are not 100% the same which we were yesterday. Even our thought patterns have changed from yesterday until today. So when everything is new, then why are we being stuck in the old chatter? Now, anything, Vanna, to answer your question, anything which makes us come down, the criticism, is the chatter which we have to mute. Just tune off, stop listening. And anything which is promoting you and telling you, हाँ हो जाएगा, हाँ हो जाएगा, come do it, I have your back, or do this, do this, do this, which is in taking it on the path of love light, is your intuition, is your higher self, is your higher consciousness. Right? So please start tapping into your infinite being. Once we all start tapping into it, we will be easily able to distinguish about what is good, what is bad. So that's it for today. We had this one question and these two sharings which we talked about. Tomorrow we meet at the same time, same place, and we take our lesson forward. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow in the gap. Lots of love. Have a magical day. Thank you.